the complex numbers that we've started talking about. So if you look at example 1 in your notes, it's asking us to write things in the form bi, where b, now can you remember what this means? B is an element of the real numbers. Real numbers are anything that are not complex numbers. So it could be a surd, or it could be a fraction, or an integer. So a certain number of i's, in other words. So for part A, square root of minus 16, we did that in the previous question. You can write it as root 16 times root minus 1. Root 16 is 4, and square root of minus 1 is I. Now, of course, we could say, because the square root of 16 is plus or minus, we could say it's plus or minus 4i, but I'll just take the positive root in this question. Part B, same thing again. Root of minus 49, that's the square root of 49 times square root of minus 1, which is obviously 7i. And then if you did the same thing for the last one, root of minus 12. Now 12 isn't a square number, but we can use our knowledge of surds. So we just split it up again. Root 12, you're probably already saying, that we can write as 2 root 3. And then the square root of minus 1 is I. So it's 2 root 3 I. Just make sure you don't put the I underneath the square root. For example 2, all we're doing is simplifying some expressions. Now it's worth memorising these. I cubed means square root of minus 1 times square root of minus 1 times square root of minus 1, 3 of them. Now these two, anytime you multiply a square root of something by itself, you can basically take the square root away. So these two would multiply together to give minus 1. And then this is obviously I, so it's minus 1 times I, which is minus I. So I cubed is the same as minus I. If we look at part B, I to the 4, well, that's 4 of these multiplied together. And what we can do is we can look at these in pairs. So this first pair would pair up to give minus 1, and the other pair would give minus 1. So it's minus 1 times minus 1. So I to the 4 actually is just 1. For part C, we want the negative of I squared. So we're doing the negative of square root of minus 1 times square root of minus 1. These two multiply to give minus 1, but we want the negative of that, which again just gives us 1 as an answer. And then for part D, slightly different. Notice how the minus is inside the bracket. So it's minus the square root of minus 1 squared. So it's minus root minus 1 times minus root minus 1. Same thing squared. How many minuses have we got? Well, the minus there and the minus there would become a plus, and so we can think of it as just root minus 1 times root minus 1, which is minus 1. So you might want to watch that video through again just to get your head around these quantities here. It can get very confusing with all the negatives going on there.